There we go. I do believe we're live. So I'll say indeed and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again on another conscious evolution. Another opportunity for us to consider today's centering thought. It being growth and all of the ways in which we can. We went down the rabbit hole of touching on a bunch of points in the previous stream and then, of course, expanding upon them as we do in our minds in consideration so that we can look forward to more growth in our future. Thinking about all of the ways in which we have grown in these areas potentially too. And the areas of growth we discussed was bodily and physical evolution, right? Like all of the ways in which our health, all of the ways in which our strength, all of the ways in which our sensitivities have evolved, have changed, have grown. Thinking about how we've adapted, right, to our environments, to our foods, to our habits, and then thinking how we can grow more and which ways we can grow with that perspective. Cognitive and intellectual expansion, right? Our learning and curiosity, our ability to critically think about things, right? I feel one of the things that I've been called to grow is my trust, right? I've been pretty skeptical my whole life. I find myself more skeptical these days, right? And it is interesting. It's interesting to see how that cognitive and intellectual expansion has grown in me as well. Emotional and psychological maturation. I think I have matured a bit emotionally, as a people believe that there's a lot of growth left for me. Psychological, is my psychology mature? Again, I would like to believe so. Maybe that's, like very good evidence for me not being psychologically mature enough. Yeah, you see, that's where you failed. You thought you were mature, which is a number one sign of not actually being mature. And then we continue down the moral and ethical refinements, thinking about our virtue cultivation and the responsibility we have to have integrity in this world. Thinking again, as we mentioned before, about our preconceived notions, our ideas about what this world is, right? And thinking about the growth that only comes with, as it was said in that as well, time. You sometimes have to spend time growing your moral and ethical refinement. And sometimes some people aren't put in the right circumstances or are not punished adequately or are rewarded disproportionately for certain actions, stunting their potential moral and ethical refinement and development. Looking forward to more spiritual and existential enrichment, right? Feeling like maybe coming back to realizing that we are spirits, ultimately, right? And these spirits that we are find ourselves in bodies, right? There's a little spirit in that dude too, right? A whole entity that has a whole feeling about me and I about him. Joe saying, I threw a temper tantrum yesterday, like a big old temper tantrum. It showed me how much I need to mature. Big kids shouldn't act like that. I'm still growing always. I look forward to nurturing you to grow strong, to grow wise, to grow spiritually and existentially enriched. I can be a big kid too. And it might not be fine for us to act in those ways, but some people never see any fault of the ways in which they act, right? And those are not the big kids. Those are the little screaming babies, right? So at least we got big kids going on up here, right? There's still a lot more growth and maturation to happen, but I'm proud of you, Jao. I hope you can feel it. Social and relational development, we're talking about the temper tantrums. That is definitely an interpersonal connection thing and a collaboration and communication thing. And this is something that I may be willing to meet you halfway on as well, is that a temper tantrum, only happens as like a point of frustration, right? Like you reach a point of breaking, right? And usually that frustration or that point of breakage comes with feeling like you're having a hard time in that context, uh, communicating, right? Like you're not being heard by this person. So a temper tantrum might make it more clear how it is you're feeling, because we do use communication to communicate how it is we're feeling, right, in our heart. And if the other person isn't listening, we might have to communicate more potently, right? Try and stimulate feeling. And again, if that feeling still doesn't arise, then it might be an interpersonal connection kind of thing, right? Growth happens when we learn to understand and empathize with others, right? That you can understand and empathize with a person who doesn't want to understand and empathize with you, right? I had to come to that point. For instance, Vessel, my youngest brother, right? Like we had a very tumultuous relationship as children, where I was without any sugarcoating, a bully to him, right? Not so much physical, but very much so emotional, where he would be overly emotional. He would cry about almost anything and everything. And me and my other sibling, Rida, would make fun of him for that, right? Like there was definitely like a whole masculinity thing going on there of like, what are you crying about, right? Like you're embarrassing yourself kind of vibes. And I was mean to him as a like older brother. I was 4 years older than he is, and I went through a lot of change. I was at that point, like when I was at my meanest, I was an atheist, so I didn't really think any of it mattered, right? Especially not myself. Never mind my siblings. So I was a mean person at that point of my life, and I had to go through growth, right? Spiritual and existential enrichment in myself to realize that's not the kind of person that I wanted to be. And I came back home with the intent of like nurturing my relationships. And me and Rudos, my brother just younger than me, our relationship completely transformed after I did, right? Because he was willing to be with me and that willingness to transform. He was willing to sit down with me and have an experience with me. He was willing to hear me out, and he realized that I'm willing to hear him out as well. However, that is not the same relationship that I have with my youngest brother, where the the relationship, right, the way that this is articulated is the interpersonal connection between me and him, and the empathizing that I have to have with him is that he, and in his own words, he's literally told me this, doesn't want a relationship with me, right? The exact words that he used, right? Because I approached him again recently with the intent of getting past this animosity that's between us. And I told him, I'm doing this because I want a relationship with you, and he told me, just so you know, I don't want a relationship with you. So this thing that you keep trying and keep failing at, you're failing at because I don't want this thing that you want from me. And I was like, oh, that helps in you telling me. I get to empathize and learn to understand where you're coming from. You don't want to have a relationship with me? Okay. Now instead of like racking my brain, how can I get through to my brother? How can I have a loving relationship with him? I just get to understand and empathize with where he is. And I get to kind of like, after understanding and empathizing, put it out of my mind, get to move on with my life, do something else with my time. Jeebs, you know, yeah, I've seen adults act like that and not take responsibility for it. We grow until we choose to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Poor middle kids. That was me. I feel, yeah. I know that you're not that way though, Joe. Like, Joe makes a great deal of effort to show up for her family, to make sure her siblings know that they are loved. Melty, I'm confused, bro. Is this a parallel universe I have elevated to? Your stream ended as I was about to compliment the poem you recited, Joe, on the beautiful written farewell to stream. So much love. Maybe I missed both of those. No, this is just the horizontal fractal, right? We just had like a vertical stream because the vertical stream reaches differently. You might, by accident, scroll onto my vertical stream while you're scrolling YouTube Shorts. And then maybe if I'm lucky, I might influence your day just a little bit, make it a little bit better. Get my fingers up in there. You press some buttons. So you are in this universe with us, bro. The parallel universe. It's been a while, homie. It's nice having ya. Terp, you're not tripping. He does both a portrait and landscape stream these days. And I can't take full credit. Shadow Kristen wrote the noise goodbye. And I'll copy it at the end of this one too. Thank you, Jean, for your effort and for your love. We have a few more to touch on. Uh, Social and relational development was the previous one. And again, I'm happy that you shared what you did, Jean, and thinking about the ways in which we have to grow and thinking about the understanding we have in ourselves and empathizing with others, right? Even if the empathy reach, like, this is the way I'm trying to say it to myself, right? Like, even if the empathy in us has to reach a point where we have to accept that this person might not be in our lives at the same capacity, but that doesn't change the love we have for them and the hope we have that they'll do good in the world, right? That they'll take care of themselves in this world. But it does mean that we understand that we won't be able to expect. I think that's the big one. Expect the same type of love in return. It's a hard one. Creative and aesthetic flourishing, though, right? That's a good one to look forward to. Looking forward to artistic expression and innovation in our expression. Practical and professional mastery, learning new skills. That's always a way to grow. Becoming better at leadership and problem solving. As we go on, as we learn skills, we become capable of teaching other people how to do those same things. And as soon as you become capable of teaching another person how to do something, you are a leader. Literally, that's how it works, at least in my mind. Cultural and collective evolution, engagement with tradition and innovation, and societal transformation. There is a lot of cultural and collective evolution happening right now, right? And there is a certain level of uncertainty, I think is a good word. There's a certain level of uncertainty about how things are going to unfold. And there is this part of me that is relentlessly an optimist, right? Almost like leaning into the optimism from the perspective of, at this point, hubris, right? Like, I want to be optimistic, even if everything tells me I shouldn't be. If to say it like just like the way that it's registering in my beingness, like, you know what? You know what? I shouldn't be optimistic. I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna take this as a good sign to be even more optimistic right now. And it is not always easy, admittedly. It's not always easy, but I do think it's always worth it. Right? I feel like I play that role for other people too. That some people look to me, and I'm saying some people very vaguely. I know, like Christian. Christian is one person in my life that looks to me as someone that will stay positive despite circumstances. Right? And him looking to me like that has helped me grow into being more like that as a person too. Right? Without his awareness, without his voice applying awareness to that part of my character to me through his eyes and his voice too, I wouldn't be capable of as much as I am. Kobe is so cute, sleeping in the corner over there. Or is that Peppers? That's Kobe. That's Kobe. You doing a rest, sweet dog? Hmm? Yeah, nice. You see his little eyes staring at me. I am going to take a bit of this. Yeah, there's not much of this left. And when it's gone and depleted, something will change. At the very least, I will be left without any of these high quality nugs. The people that gave me these nugs all do grow for internationals. All right, they have companies in Europe that literally have exclusive orders for the stuff they grow. That's where they get their seeds from, and they literally grow professionally for these individuals too, so they know what they're doing. Melty, I see you are fully enlightened. I don't know about that, bro. I think I still got a lot more enlightenment to go. If you had to ask me, I like egoically, I like the idea of, yes, I am, in fact, fully enlightened. Yeah. But no. No, I still got some growth ahead of me. Still got some growth. Ah, cool. That's a brilliant idea. That was a bit of a trip. I read that and thought, classic Joe, next level vocabulary. Sorry, I'm a little bit overwhelmed. To be honest, love is true. It's okay, bro. There is a lot of energy in this space. We do cultivate a great deal of intention and showing up the way we do. I open the door for the doggo if he wants to get out. He's technically just sitting closer to me now. Tail waggy waggy. Here comes a Pippi too. Beautiful nug, bro, right? Like these nugs are, like I've been chipping into them, but let me put some more light. They really are quite spectacular nugs. Wow, my ears. That hurts. I don't like. I don't like. Yeah, Terp. I mean, his name is Terp. Terpillus. Terpillus terpenes. Terp, no reason for a sorry. Thank you for being here. It really is nice to see you. It is. Bringing all of us some solace and thinking about our friends being here on the earth with us. It's not like I'm attached to a label. No one had to ask. No one will ever have to ask you. Never have to think about being enlightened. I guess. Really is nice to see you. So much love. So much love. Let's try. Let's try what this strain's gonna be like. They are nice and dense. So very crystally. Lovely dusting of trikes. I've got some animal face OG mints in my my mighty brother. That does sound nice. I have some citrus kush and strawberry runts and wedding cake in the ground right now outside. But I don't know if I'll be able to grow stuff of this caliber. Like these are very nice. If only I could see your logic. If only I could see yours, Hoopy. We would have so much more logic between the two of us, bro. Double the logic, probably. I'm packing member berries in my Lobo device. Yeah, that's the cycle. This bud is just very nice. Quite spectacular. This is probably like the bud quality you friends just like take for granted in America at this point, though. It's like, yeah, Mel, that's what weed is supposed to look like. There is quite a diverse range here in South Africa. You'll find all kinds. It's nice having the good stuff. Listening. Spoken. All of the ways in which we grow. We human beings can grow ourselves plants and grow because of those experiences too. How unique an experience it is to be a human being. I wonder if the experience of being a human being and watching doggos play like this, and the experience of being a doggo and watching other doggos play is vastly different. Right? And then watching, like, I've seen cats. Tuneful melt. Thank you, bro. I've seen cats watch the dogs too. And I can see that there is some sort of opinion. Maybe that's a wrong way to say it. There is a maybe assessment, I think is a good word. There is an assessment happening in the cat. I feel maybe primarily that assessment is whether or not they want to be in close proximity of of whatever that is. All right, and usually they don't want to be. But in that way, again, there is some sort of narrative being built inside those little minds. Thinking about growth. Is there growth ahead for our animals too? Will they have to change the same way we do? Or will they be one of those things that we are grateful for when it comes to the stability that they hold? That doggos will be doggoing. Hey, don't eat the blanket. You see the sidekick? Be having some bite face. He's becoming a big doggo now. Yeah. Yeah. Having growth ahead of us. It was raining today again. That's why we're sitting inside. There's a lot of growth that is going to happen because of the events that transpire. Part of me wants to take you to go and see some plants, but I also think it is just a little bit out of reach when it comes to the signal. I love you, friends. I appreciate you for joining me. I am gonna say goodbye for today. Before I do, hey, hey, they're freaking eating my scarf down there. You see. Maximum shenanigans always. I'll show you the flower one more time. So you can see it here too. Boom. And focus. Yeah. Aw, Joe. Making sure we got a goodbye message to say. I appreciate. Appreciate the effort. Appreciating Kristen too. Appreciating you. Yeah. The portal closes. And then I'll read you the poem that went with it. Feels a little bit basic, relatively speaking, but it's almost like when you're in pain, you kind of want it that way. You're like, just getting to it. I did. I had to retire my Dyna almost a year ago and picked up a Mighty Plus from SMB, bro. It's a bit more a session style vape. Yeah, you get a little bit more Bogiga blazed. I don't know if you know, but I was on my way to buy myself a Mighty when I stumbled upon this device. And it was like, oh wow, a Mighty costs X and I get to pay quarter of X buying one of these instead. It's like bet. And so I did. And the rest was history. As for the future, whether you're going, wherever you're going, practice being here and now. Thank you for that reminder, Joe. Just being here and now. That like does things to my brains. I can literally feel myself producing. Maybe I'm not producing anything. Maybe I'm just like switching over to a parasympathetic nervous system. When pain crashes the party, pain shows up uninvited. That clumsy guest who barges in, yelling, "I'm here." But you, the host, already know the drill. You learn early on that truth. You're not defined by these unplanned visits. Every bruise, every sigh is just a quirky note in the wild jam session of life. So when pain knocks, you throw on your brightest smile, cue the funky beat of resilience, and if it insists, invite it to a brief, awkward dance before showing it the door. Because deep down, you know you're the star of this party. Writing the script, turning the missteps into a playful groove, and proving that no matter how loud pain tries to be, your own rhythm is always in charge. Yeah, I think that was a better reading too. Felt good. Such a pleasure continuing this groove with you, friends. We like efficiency. I'm pretty sure George has a SD. We like efficiency. Friends, see ya. Bless. It's nice having you here too. Thank you, friends, for joining. Maximum shenanigans. We make play. I feel like they could feel themselves being watched suddenly. Alrighty. Time for goodbye messages has come. We shall say goodbye with a valiant have the most flourishing day, everyone. I wholeheartedly love you all so exuberantly, luminously, bounteously, prodigiously, ineffably, and zestfully, effervescently, profoundly, unstintingly, and transcendently. Melt in all of you, oh so blossoming, resplendent, verdant, ever unfolding, ripening, metaphoric, efflorescent, burgeoningly, radiant, pheasant, 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 and fruition filled friends who embrace the ways that we grow. So much love. So don't keep it a secret when it is your time to strike the drum. Boom goes all of our hearts. Doggo's a place somewhere in the world. Goes digging in a corner. Sneaks up from behind. Damn creatures in our lives, huh? Love is true. I appreciate your friends for joining me. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have an amazing day or night, everyone. Sending you so much love. You too. It's nice seeing you here today, Clint. See your friends again soon. Tomorrow.